Driving an all-electric car is an amazing experience. Electric cars are not only a great way to save gasoline, because you don't use any, and to keep the air cleaner, but they are also just pure fun to drive. They are quick and silent with tires that chirp every time you punch the accelerator. But as with all new technology, there's a learning curve, and I guess I'm a slow learner because after a week in the all-electric 2019 Chevrolet Bolt, I failed. Here's my electric voyage story. I was testing an all-electric 2019 Chevrolet Bolt for a week and had plotted out several days of long-distance driving as tests for the range of the Bolt's battery. Look at that. Isn't that a thing of beauty? There's no engine. There's a computer. Day 1. 2 round trips from Sacramento to Placerville with a stop at Cal Expo for the California State Fair for fun while recharging. This day went flawlessly. We drove over 200 miles and still came home with about 40 miles of range left on the battery. Day 4 was a one-way trip from Sacramento to Monterey, California through Oakland, a total of over 200 miles of driving. Now with the Bolt nearly fully charged after 2 days of household current, I was able to get to Oakland to meet my daughter for lunch while leaving the Bolt plugged into a fast charging station at the Whole Foods in downtown Oakland. 90 minutes later, I had more than enough range to easily make the 111-mile drive to Monterey. Once I got to Monterey, I was thrilled to find an available fast charging station in the parking lot right next door to my motel. So I plugged in the Bolt overnight to ensure that I had a full charge for the trip home to Sacramento the next day. After fast charging all night, the Bolt was fully fueled and ready for the trip back to Sacramento. While the beginning range estimates showed that I would make it home with about 40 miles to spare, those numbers changed dramatically as I drove the hills and valleys and freeways toward home. My range anxiety started to kick in. 100 and change to get to Sacramento, and I've got a 143-mile range left. Minimum that says I could do 117, so even if I was driving very aggressively, I should be able to get home barely. Okay, I'm in Stockton, about 50 miles away from home, according to Google Maps. And I currently have 49 miles of range. So that doesn't calculate like I'm going to make it. But here we are. I probably got about 48 miles to go, and I'm at 48 on the range. Yeah. Oh, keep your hands on the wheel. Okay, we'll check in later. Now at 16-mile range with a minimum 13-mile range. I was on the freeway, which is not the most efficient driving when you are trying to conserve electricity. So I was just gonna be on the nose to make it home. So I felt very uncomfortable, and I still feel very uncomfortable. I don't know what's going to happen, but I did a search for EV stations nearby, and there's one now that's about 10 miles away, and as you can see, I've got 13-mile minimum, 16-mile average, so I should be able to make it. Keep my fingers crossed that the station will be operational, it'll be open, it won't be in use. Yeah, I almost could have made it, but tell you what, if you don't know what you're totally exactly going to do, you cannot count on getting down to the last couple miles. I located a charge point station just off the freeway and headed there for a quick charge. However, the charging station was not available because it was in a closed parking lot owned by Caltrans. I was stuck. That is a Caltrans lot, and they theoretically have a charge point charger right there. But it's 7 p.m. and it's closed. It's locked up. Don't know how I could get in there. So I have parked at this fuel facility where they've got clean energy for buses and trucks of the city of Elk Grove. No electric. Fortunately, there were several fast chargers open and available in the parking lot of a Walmart, and I was able to complete an 80% charge in about 2 hours' time at a cost of $27. That was enough to get me home. Okay, so I'm home safe and sound here in my Sacramento garage, and guess what? I've got a green light. That means this car is fully charged. The 2019 Chevy Bolt is fully charged I think it's at 228 miles. That steady green light is something I've only seen once before in this week-long electric experience in the 2019 Chevy Bolt. MSRP for the 2019 Chevy Bolt is $40,995 with the options and features that was added into this, topped out at $43,510 for this model 2019 Chevy Bolt all-electric hatchback wagon. In short, green means go. Go green and go electric. There's a learning curve. We all have to deal with it. But once you get to know your vehicle and know your range, and also to know where the chargers are and where the chargers that are operational, it's a wonderful, fun car to drive, and you're driving the future of transportation right here. 2019 Chevy Bolt. The future is now.